Good morning, Oklahoma and the rest of the world. OTAP here, EPLURIBUSOTAP. Out of many me, I am America, and you can be too. We are coming to you live outside of Tinker Air Force Base. Over there, as you can see those airplanes. That is the Charles B. Hall Air Park. There's the Visitor Center, aka Pass and ID office there in front. And then behind that is the main gate into the Tinker Air Force Base, also known as the Tinker Gate. So, day 2 of constitutional carry here in Oklahoma. And we're at Tinker Air Force Base. Take a look at my ugly mug. Just came from the base getting a haircut. And the reason that I'm standing here outside of the base and not driving around is because even though constitutional carry went into effect here in Oklahoma yesterday, you are still not allowed to take firearms onto federal military installations such as Tinker Air Force Base. So, with that being said, to be a law-abiding citizen, I parked approximately 10 minutes away, a 10-minute walk, so that I would be in compliance with the law. Because breaking the law is always a bad thing. And of course, ignorance of the law is no excuse, but one of the reasons I get out here and do these videos and talk to people and spread the truth and the gospel of the law is so that people don't have that ignorance. I truly believe that if you know what the law says, you're a lot less likely to break the law and you don't have to open that Pandora's box of troubles. So, again, even though we have constitutional carry in Oklahoma, that installation behind me, in many ways, that is not part of Oklahoma. State law does not apply there. Do not try to take your guns to the military base. Do not take your guns to that air park, that Charles B. Hall Air Park. I called ahead before I got here. I was thinking maybe I'll park there and then walk in because I don't want to walk a long way. I'm a disabled veteran. It hurts to walk. I've had 2 ankle surgeries. I've had knee surgery. Walking uphill, downhill on uneven terrain. These are all things that aggravate my conditions and make me very limpy and painful. So I did call ahead to ask who owns the dirt that air park sits upon, and that is part of the military installation. Even though it is open to the public, that is part of Tinker Air Force Base. So you cannot even have your firearms in your vehicle in that parking lot. Same goes for the Pass and ID office or visitor center, whatever you want to call it. You cannot have your firearms in your vehicle locked up out of sight in that parking lot. You would be breaking federal law, which is a very serious offense. So again, don't do it. But this is, it's a real concern that these places are gun-free zones, particularly for military service members and veterans such as myself that need to go on base, receive various services, healthcare, shopping, you name it, especially after the new year. Coming up January 1st, 2020, we're going to have approximately 3 to 4 million more veterans who will be eligible for base access. Basically, when that law goes into effect, anyone that has any VA rating at all, even a 0% rating for hearing loss, that will entitle you to base access. So just something to keep in mind. Once again, make sure you know what the law says so you will be a lot less likely to break the law. So we have the little white walking man there on the crosswalk. So we'll go across the street and just kind of give you a sense of how far away I parked to be better safe than sorry. So, I thought about, parking here at the Circle K, but, not really a place you want to leave your car for a long period of time. Same goes for these fast food places. But this shopping center coming up here behind Raising Cane's, there's a McAllister's Deli, there's an Office Depot, and a Dick's Sporting Goods. I should probably grab my rape whistles and go into that Dick's, make fun of them for what they don't sell anymore and how they're hemorrhaging money, and hopefully we'll be out of business soon because of that anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment stance they've taken. So just think, it's pretty chilly today, a little breezy. I'm wearing the thick jacket to stay warm, but weather could be a lot worse. And think about this, nighttime, not necessarily the best neighborhood, not necessarily the worst, but crime happens, mugging happens, older people walking alone at night in inclement weather or whatever undesirable conditions. You are, for all effects and purposes, you are defenseless during that period of time between exiting the base and getting to wherever you have left your vehicle and personal defensive devices. So we'll continue across this crosswalk as we also have a little white walking man there on the illuminated rectangle there. And there you see it. That is where I parked, folks. Michael Purcell, I'm happy about the fact you made this video for people to see, know, and understand. Thank you. Absolutely, buddy. Like I said, that's what it's about. Forewarned is forearmed. Knowledge is power. So here we are in a public parking lot, owned by private entities perhaps, where state law specifically says you are absolutely allowed to store your firearms in your vehicle. And of course, with constitutional carry in effect, you can not only store them in your vehicle, you can get out of your vehicle, walk around, just wander around the parking lot if you want, and of course, go into any of these business establishments, and even if they have a sign on their door with a little silhouette of a pistol and a red circle and a line through it, those signs are not backed by force of law in Oklahoma. That is in no way a deterrent to you as a law-abiding citizen, a lawfully carrying individual. That is no way a deterrent for you to go in there and conduct your business. If someone in there that represents the property has a problem with it, they can approach you and use their voice to ask you to leave. And if you do not comply with that request, at that point you are trespassing and the police will show up and bad things will happen. So by all means, comply with those requests. It is their private property. It is their business. Respect private property rights, just as you would want anyone to respect your own private property rights. The golden rule comes into play with a lot of these issues. So it's not rocket science, folks. With that being said, we're going to sign off. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, Lacey, that is quite a walk. Like I said, I timed it. I started the stopwatch on the Apple Watch, and from leaving this parking lot until the entrance of the barber shop, I was at about 9 minutes and 29 seconds, somewhere thereabouts. So I'm just going to say 10 minutes. Let's see, Michael Purcell, veteran, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service as well, fellow American, supporting and defending the greatest country in the history of the world, and only one there should be. And let's see here. Anthony Connell, yes, buddy. Yes, man. I agree and wholeheartedly. It is sort of wrong that the people that fight for our freedoms and our Constitution are not allowed any constitutional rights on a military base. It is almost like going to prison. Very, very much so in a lot of ways. I think it's very strange that, the Constitution is the highest law of the land, the highest federal law, yet in many ways, federal property is, again, for all intents and purposes, Constitution-free zones, which I think is just, it's mind-boggling. It's hypocritical. It's bizarro world stuff. So, I mean, on the other hand, I like to think of military bases as being the ultimate gated community, but at the same time, in a normal gated community, where a lot of liberal hypocrites live, because they want gun control and they want open borders, but what do? They live behind walls and gated communities with armed guards. But even in those cases, if they chose to exercise their rights to self-defense and to have firearms in their own personal homes, well, they have that option, whereas that is not the case on military installations, at least the federal ones. State-owned and operated installations, things that are associated with the National Guard, state law does apply there. You know, you're looking at a situation that's akin to a college campus in which, you know, you can keep it in your car. You can keep it in the car in the parking lot. You can even walk around in the parking lot. But you know not to go inside a building. You've been ordered not to. And again, it's like at a college campus where the president of the university can give you written permission to have, to carry on campus. There are exceptions to that on National Guard installations where, you know, the adjutant general can have you go through additional training and, you know, do some vetting, and then they'll give you a special little card that functions as your permission slip to carry concealed, you know, for safe defense, self-defense, and defense of others purposes in these National Guard installations. And this was done in response to, you know, some time ago when we had those crazed shooters that were shooting up recruiting offices. And again, you know, on the federal side, hands tied. On the state level, not so much. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off, and we're gonna zoom in at dicks who are absolutely that. They're a bunch of dicks when it comes to the Second Amendment. All right, have a fantastic day, everyone. We're going to head out and maybe get some more footage later. We're going to be hooking up with Tim Harper and the film crew from Vice TV from HBO. So you're probably going to be seeing definitely Tim, maybe some footage of me coming up on HBO on Vice News in the near future. We're going to be doing some open carry walks and just interacting with the public, just going to restaurants, carrying guns, exercising First Amendment, Second Amendment rights, and showing people how to interact with the public. If there's any law enforcement that decide to interject themselves, we'll give great examples of how to properly interact with them. Hopefully it'll be an educational experience for everyone. And we are out.